Have you ever thought that moving away from where you lived previously, you would never be able to grow your own food in Las Vegas? If so, you are like a lot of people that I talk to who move from other parts of the country, thinking they can never grow a garden in the desert. But today I am here with who you are affectionately known as Farmer Jen. And you have an amazing garden. Not only is your own personal garden amazing, but you help locals, and non-locals who live in other places, because you do travel, build the gardens that their families can eat from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And it's very true that a lot of people that I work with are usually from other parts of the country who've retired here in Vegas or landed here for the military. So they'll say, I had a beautiful garden in Ohio or Michigan or Vermont, and they came here and they'll say, I tried it here and everything died.
Right. So I agree. I've had gardens before, and for me, doing it myself was a trial and error process. Everything's, it's in the sun, it gets too much, it fries, it dies, you figure it out. But you have actually made this your mission to help people so that they can eat as organically as possible. On Instagram, your Farmer Jen Organics. One of the things that we discussed, because you did help me with my own personal garden, was that I wanted everything organic. I wanted organic, whether it was from plant, whether it was from seed, whatever that was really kind of the focus, that I wanted our family to be able to eat organic from our garden. So how do you, actually first, let me start here. How did you end up in Vegas?
So I ended up in Vegas due to the Air Force. My husband is retired Air Force, and I was living in Arizona, and he was stationed here when we met. So when our relationship started, it was like, oh, no problem. I'm definitely moving to Las Vegas. And it was a big change. I grew up in Ohio, in agricultural country. And so I grew up, even though we weren't living in the country on a farm, my grandparents always had a farm. They were always on different farmlands. I don't know. They were trying to get closer to family, so I grew up driving to see family and passing by cornfields and wheat fields and soy fields and apple orchards and farmers markets, on the side of the road. Picking blueberries, picking strawberries at the berry farms. That's how I grew up, and I thought everybody grew up like that.
Until you got here, and you're like, wait a minute, nobody is growing anything in Las Vegas.
There wasn't even any grass. I was like, everything's brown. Like, there's no fields of green. Anything. So I was we moved, and then we got stationed in Georgia for 2 years. So in Georgia is just gorgeous with gardens and lush. And then we moved back to Vegas. And I remember looking at the backyard and just going, I cannot look at these brick walls. And so I think, and then my daughters were born, and I just wanted to show them, what it's like to grow food out of the ground. And I think growing a food garden is one of the best ways, like you said, to control the health or the quality, the safety. And know what you are giving yourself and your loved ones. So that was really important to me too.
And I mean, our family went 15 years in between the first garden that we had and the garden that we have now. So I just didn't know really that I wanted, because the first time, of course, I was young, I was a stay-at-home mom, I can't even say it.
Work from home
I was working.
Working from home.
Yes, I was working harder than I am now.
Exactly.
But I had time to research, and I had time to kind of look at what I wanted to grow and how I wanted to do it. And this time around, I was like, you know what? And honestly, my daughter kind of pushed me.
Oh, really?
Because once we decided that this is what we were going to do,
right,
she kind of took the lead. And then it was like, well, what do you mean you haven't made your appointment with Jen yet?
She's so resourceful. I know.
Yeah.
She is like very proactive.
Yes.
And I love that.
And her husband is, I mean, he has researched and documented and all of these different things.
Right on the same page with that.
They are.
They
and
really
so
are.
They really pushed me to get my act together to get you over to our house, which I have which I have totally enjoyed.
Thank you.
I'm so excited that we found you. And then once we found you, I found other people who are like, oh yeah, Farmer Jen is the one who helped me with my garden too. And
That's
I mean,
wonderful.
and so it's been amazing. But what is the one thing that you would tell people, you know, like, I know the yards in Vegas sometimes aren't super large.
Right.
So, like, what's the minimum, like, size that people would need to be able to grow something other than herbs? Let's just say.
Okay. Because I help, you know, I believe that, like, you can have your own food growing no matter what you have as far as a home, whether it's a condo or an apartment or a duplex or a single family home. So I have lots of solutions for that.
Awesome.
I do, because you can grow indoor tower gardens too in an apartment or in a condo with lights. But if you wanted to have an outdoor raised bed garden, you could easily, you know, my yard, believe it or not, it's only 25 feet deep and 50 feet wide. That's not very long. And I've got 2 raised beds, fruit trees, roses, herbs. So I think...
And you have an almond tree too, right?
I have 2 almond trees.
Oh, 2 almond trees,
I actually have 2 almond trees, yes. So I would say a yard that's even 25 by 25.
Yeah.
Or 20 by 10. I mean, I do see a lot of homes now that really don't have a big backyard.
Right.
So you could do a small circular in the corner of your lettuces, arugulas, any of your favorite greens. In the cool season, you can have kale and Swiss chard and your herbs, and then save some space for some carrots and radishes.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take a lot of space. And what I call it is really, it's urban modern farming, because you just adapt to the space you have.
Yeah, and I know what you did with us even, because we have a good sized yard.
Yes, you do.
But just the way that the sun hits it, or the exposure that you have, whether you're, you know, whatever direction you're facing. So you came over and walked us through, like, okay, this is going to do better on this spot. This is going to do better here, just because of how much sun it needed. And our yard gets so much sun that, you know, I was actually a little worried that maybe, you know, things would fry because we get so much sun. But I mean, we meaning you, mapped everything out so that we had everything in the positions that it needed to be in.
And I have your design to give you.
Oh,
because I took it home with me. And I meant to leave it with you, and I took it home with me.
But I think that that's so great that you're there as someone who can come in. You take a lot of the guesswork out of it.
Right.
Which, as a busy, you know, working mom, I needed somebody to come in and say, okay, well, it's too late to plant this, but we can plant this then. And it's kind of what I wanted to talk about now, because we're getting kind of to the end of everything growing, you know, or going through its cycle that we planted in the spring.
Oh, really?
So when is the best time, or I should say by the time this airs, we will have come to the end of that spring season.
Right.
So when is the best time to plant for fall? Because I don't even know that I thought about planting a second time.
A lot
during
of people
the year.
don't. A lot of people think, coming from either other parts of the country or just knowing Vegas is really mild in March, April, and May.
Yeah.
They just think that there's a spring season.
Right.
And there's actually, you can plant in July. You can plant pumpkins, and you can plant even some melons if you want to try melon. But I plant in July to have pumpkins for October and Halloween and Thanksgiving. But I say my favorite time to plant is August and September. So in the end of August, you can start things like broccoli and cauliflower from seed, and they're going to be ready within a couple months. You're going to have broccoli and cauliflower is a tricky one, but broccoli grows really well here. And cauliflower grows really well here. It's a little bit pickier with the microclimate. So September is my favorite time. It's the cool season. We're heading into our cool season of the year, and I know you have my planting list for fall, and it's the biggest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a huge planting list of choices that you can plant. And if you start by seed, which I just recommend because it's more affordable.
Yeah.
If you want to watch your budget, starting from seed is more affordable. And also, you know exactly what you're growing.
Right.
It goes back to knowing this seed is non-GMO, it's organic. You can look at the farm, you can know the farm of where these seeds were coming from. So that's another reason I start with really good seeds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and then, so she is such a resource for where to get your seeds, where to get your organic starter plants, where to get, your... I
try to make it easy for you.
Well, you do. Yeah. You make it very easy. Even where to get your raised planter beds. Anything that, you would need, you really take the guesswork out of it, which makes it so nice to just be able to enjoy the fruit and the vegetables and all of that, because a lot of the planning part of it is what takes so much time. And I think why it was 15 years in between me doing another garden.
I didn't realize it was 15 years.
Yes.
Wow, that's a long time because you love gardening.
I do.
Uh-huh.
I do. I mean, and I tell everyone who comes to Vegas, they're like, oh, well, we have to give up this. We have to give up that. No, you don't. You don't have to give it up. And now the great thing is I have you as a resource to send them to, so that I can say, listen, if you're wanting to do this but don't know how to start, or it is so different from where you moved here from, you're a great resource.
Well, I designed my kitchen garden consultations. That's what we did.
Yes.
We had a kitchen garden consultation. Yes. And I've designed it over the years to really just help you skip over all the trial and error I went through, because I went through the season after season, year after year of figuring out what worked out here and what didn't. And I'm not self-taught because I took many classes here in Vegas, from the Springs Preserve to the Cooperative Extension. But most of it with gardening is you learn and grow. You learn and grow. But the consultation is designed to take all that guesswork out. And if you like to learn, I kind of give a little mini workshop. On what to do and what to plant now and what to do with your soil and how to set up. The irrigation is so important here in Vegas. That's one of the most important parts of your garden.
Okay, so
how's your irrigation doing?
Because we followed your advice and we hired who you told us to.
Yes,
it's perfect.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I love to hear that.
And normally, whenever I start a project, because I am not handy, I just have lots of ideas. I have lots of ideas of what I want to do. I have no idea how to do it. And so then my husband just looks at me and says, oh my gosh,
here we go.
What am I going to have to do? And so this time when I told him, I'm like, okay, no.
And he's very handy.
He is.
And he's ready to get in it and work and set it up.
He is, but he despises irrigation.
It's tricky.
Despises it.
It's not easy.
Yeah. So
it's a real science, honestly.
I think it was part of his Christmas gift that I hired somebody to do the irrigation. Yeah.
Well,
he was thrilled.
And Smart Choice Landscaping, they're so talented. They're so skilled, and it's just better to hand it over. They probably finished it in a morning, right?
Yeah, it was a great company, great experience. They were, and then just watching them after the fact when we kind of looked at the valve box and what they did and all of that, my husband looks and he's like, yep, wouldn't have done that. And so we were
that would have taken a few weeks of trying it and changing it.
Exactly.
Yep.
And they were done in a day. And so it was really a great resource to have.
Well, one of the services I'll say that I want to offer is that in the end we want to save money on our groceries and we want to have great food.
Yes.
So if you're going through all that trial and error and buying supplies, trying it doesn't work, going back and buying more. I really want it to be a budget-friendly garden too, so that in the end, the setup is the most expensive part.
Right.
People will say, wow, this is an expensive food garden. I'm like, but it'll be here for 20 years.
Exactly.
It'll be here for 20 years.
Yeah.
And you're going to see every year how much you're not having to buy at the grocery store, and you're just taking it out of your yard. My herbs, I never buy herbs, and we cook all the time with herbs. So if you look at that 5 years later, look at the hundreds and hundreds of dollars you've saved.
Yeah.
Or even in the wintertime when you can do your lettuces and you can grow all your salad fixings. You don't have to go buy salad that's going to sit in the refrigerator and just go bad.
And the great thing is, though, too, is where that food came from.
Exactly.
You're not wondering. And I love
that's so important.
Yeah, I love that. My grandkids are out there every day.
Are they?
Looking at the tomatoes, looking at the flowers from the cucumbers, looking at, everything that is, happening out there.
Great.
And I know I'm looking forward to this part of it. We haven't got there yet. But when I had my garden previously, I don't know that we ever cooked anything because the kids would go pick everything and eat it
fresh
right off the vine.
Oh, yes. Which is the best.
Yeah. And so it was so good for me also to kind of teach them how much effort goes into, growing food.
Right.
The difference in how it tastes, having it fresh, as opposed to having it, maybe not organic from the store. But
it has sat in a truck.
Right.
It has sat in a cooler.
Right.
And we're not sure how long.
Right.
So the nutrient quality of it every week goes down further and further.
Right.
And the most nutrient-dense food you can eat is picked right off of the vine.
Right.
So your children back then, it had the sun, it was getting the sun and the nutrients every day, and they're taking it and eating it. That's just the healthiest food you could ever have.
Well, and the taste
and the flavor
is just beyond anything that you've probably ever tasted before.
It's
even if you buy organic. Even if you buy organic, it still tastes better than what you buy in the grocery store.
It does.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between locally grown and I buy organic, and I'm so grateful for the grocery stores who offer that at the store. But you can get micro local, and it's grown right in your backyard.
Right.
Or in a community garden. I totally encourage people to use community gardens too if they don't have space at home.
So can you go a little bit more into that? Because I'm not really sure what a community garden.
Sure.
I understand the concept, but are there community gardens here in Vegas?
We actually have a lot of community gardens here, and I think people don't really know about that. We have at least 5 that I know of, and if you search community gardens, Las Vegas, you'll find places like San Miguel Community Garden. There's Craig Ranch Park has a community garden.
Okay.
And what happens is they have these beautiful, gorgeous raised beds that are all built for you, and they've got the irrigation, and you basically rent it.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can rent a big bed, and you bring in the soil and the seeds and the plants, and you take care of it yourself. So
I
you
had
can
no
rent
idea.
a garden. Yep.
I had no idea that existed.
You didn't know that existed,
No.
and you've been here for a long time.
I've been here for a very long
There's a lot of people who don't realize.
Yeah.
There's amazing community gardens. There's Floyd Lamb Park also has community gardens in the back.
Okay.
One of my goals actually is to kind of write down where all the community gardens are and the contact info on how to rent it. Get in there and rent a bed.
That would be really great information to have.
The one at Craig Ranch Park, I know, is kind of managed by Garden Farms of Nevada, and they give, they have farmers there who can give classes.
Yeah.
And I often do classes as well. I work at UNLV. Did you know UNLV has a student garden?
I had no clue.
They have a beautiful community garden for the campus, and the hotel. The departments on campus will rent beds. Students will rent beds. The chefs who teach there will grow their own food and show how you can do farm to table when they're teaching in the hotel department.
Cool.
I'm forgetting the name of the department there.
Is it their hospitality department?
Hospitality department, yes. So the faculty there will use the garden and teach the students how
amazing.
To harvest and prep beautiful dishes right there. So there's so much urban farming in Las Vegas, and it's kind of under the radar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully it won't be for long. Hopefully we can get a lot of people to, kind of start experimenting with their own food growing.
I hope so, too. I hope so.
So I know on top of doing consultations for families or individuals, you also teach.
I do.
At schools.
I do.
Which is how you got the name Farmer Jen. Yes. Because that is what the students would call you when you would come to give classes.
They would.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what started you going to schools? And can schools contact you to come out and give classes at their schools?
Yes, definitely. Yes. And I'm working on getting some of the school gardens that had to close down during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And lost funding.
Yeah.
So I am working and very dedicated to getting those started again. And I just started Kitty Ward Elementary School's garden with a garden club. We decided to do a garden club, and it's going really well. And we got the garden beds replanted, and we're harvesting all summer.
Good.
And parents are coming out to get food and take it home during the summer. And now they have garden club going all next year. So I started working, in 2016 in school gardens. And I partnered up with a nonprofit at the time who was dedicated to putting in garden education and health and nutrition resources in Title I schools.
Yeah.
Mostly for children who really are having a hard time getting access to that.
Yeah.
So I started working in the school gardens then, and we do weekly lessons on health, nutrition, and STEM. But most of all, the students all grow their own garden. So I show them how to grow food.
That's amazing.
And it is amazing because I didn't realize so many children here in Vegas didn't see the farms growing up like I did.
Yeah, no, where we have an orchard.
We have
here in Vegas. And but it kind of seems like a lot of people end up at the orchard for specific things, like pumpkins,
Halloween.
at Halloween, or when they have watermelons. But you can go to the orchard and pick, carrots and zucchini and watermelons, and I'm just
You
all
can.
kinds of things. But you know, it is in the way northwest.
That's
so
true.
if you live somewhere where it's a 45-minute drive,
If you're living in Henderson,
yeah, I
it's
mean,
a big trip.
you may never see this orchard that's right here in Las Vegas. So, I mean, you're right. A lot of people don't know
Yes.
that you can grow your own food here.
You sure can, and you can grow all year long. It's the best place to
Yeah.
grow food, I think, because we have the mild winters, and then, you know, if you know what grows in the summer, I know you planted in the spring, you know,
Yes.
watermelon and
Yep.
some squash.
Yep.
So those will grow all through summer, and you're seeing, you have that
and
too.
my squash is actually getting flowers now.
Oh,
So,
good.
yeah,
It's taken a while here because it's been a cool early summer.
Yes. Well, I mean, but it was good for me because we kind of started this process in the late spring of getting our beds up and running.
Yes, you were a little later, and I was worried about that because I thought, oh, if it gets to be 110 like next week.
I know. Well, the weather has cooperated.
Yes.
So, I mean, we haven't yet hit 100 degrees, and we're almost in July.
Right.
So, I got very fortunate.
You're so lucky. Mother Nature's on your side.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, anything else that people should know? I mean, you do consultations.
Yes.
You teach in schools.
Well, going back to the schools.
Yeah.
So you're the first one in Las Vegas to get this news.
Yay!
I have an announcement.
Awesome.
And it's related to school gardens. So I have written a book.
Nice.
And I am releasing it on Amazon Kindle. And it's a manual for teachers, administrators, and people who work with schools, parents who want to put in a really successful school garden program.
Awesome.
So it's called Growing. I should have a copy of it. I meant to have a copy here. Growing School Gardens and Smart Minds and Healthy Children.
Nice.
Yes, so it's a manual on running a successful school garden program. And it goes from not just building the garden, but building culture and community around that garden.
Yeah.
So parents who want to get involved with their children and bringing in resources from the community to help build it, to help plant it, to help keep it maintained. I've had... Our community, as you know, comes together in amazing ways.
We do.
And I have some unbelievable sponsors I'm so grateful for who have come in and just provided the tools and the soil and the gloves for the kids and anything we need, the shed, the garden shed, and the tools that, somewhere to store the tools. So this book will be available soon.
Awesome.
And it will be in an ebook version right now, and then it'll be eventually something that schools can print up as a manual and then use with their teams to go through and just get their garden program going, all the way down to a budget, so they can do fundraising.
That's perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think the cost, especially in schools, probably is what prohibits them from moving forward with some of these projects.
That's what I've found.
And this could be, I mean, this program could be a life-altering program because it could end up teaching students who are food insecure how to, maintain the security on their own at a really reduced cost, with being able to provide for themselves.
Well, a lot of the students have so much fun in their garden classes during the week that they go home and they tell their parents, like, either I want to buy kale, like I want kale. What student was ever going to say, I want a superfood like kale?
Right.
Or they actually go home and ask their parents to build a garden.
Yeah.
So that's the most beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Because they do. They go home and I do that. So I can go to the home and help them build a garden and put it together. So, yes, so that's going to be available starting this fall when the school year starts.
All right. Well, we should, maybe when this comes out, if you have the link to that, we can put it in the description so that you can get it and you can forward it to whoever you want, as far as,
That would
maybe
be
even the
great.
administration
Yes.
for the schools or whatever that looks like, where, they need to get this into their hands.
So it'll be connected to my website when it's
Okay.
ready. So my website is farmergenorganics.com.
Okay.
And I'll be putting a link on that website
Awesome.
when it's all ready.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, and then Farmer Gen Organics is also how they can find you on Instagram.
Yes, I'm on social. And so I'm on Facebook, and I've got a business page, a personal page, and then Instagram. And on Facebook, I have a group called Farmer Jen's Neighborhood.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't.
It's hard to keep it up in people's minds, but Farmer Jen's Neighborhood is there, so you can get on there and actually post questions
Okay.
for me, and
Yeah.
I'll check it regularly
Okay.
and reply.
All right,
if
so,
people
like,
have
if people-
questions about their gardens
Yeah.
or they want to start, go to the group Farmer Jen's Neighborhood
Okay.
and join.
Yeah.
And then once you're in the group, you can post questions.
Well, like, what is this bug? I've never seen this bug until I planted this garden.
Is this
I've-
bad or good?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we were. I
Are
don't
you getting some bugs now? It is
well,
that
we
time
had
of year.
some
Oh, we have a hummingbird
some
joining us. There we
crazy
go.
looking bug one day, and my grandson, he's like, that was a big bug. I mean, so it was just, but yes, we are finding that
Summer is
that
the
we
best
are getting
season for that.
But also, I think we had so much rain this winter.
Yes, that's
that,
right.
Yeah, that we're having.
Look, the hummingbird's coming to say hi.
Was that the hummingbird
That
right
was
by
a
my head?
hummingbird. Flew right over your head. That's a good sign. That's a sign of good luck.
I have a hummingbird on my back, a tattoo.
You do.
Yeah.
See, so, you love hummingbirds.
Yes, I do. I do. I do. Okay. Anything else that we haven't covered as far as what you do?
I think we've covered it all.
Okay.
I come to the house, to your home or your condo or your apartment, and basically assess it, like you said,
Yeah.
and figure out the best size and type of garden you can put in, so you can grow your own food.
Awesome.
And no garden space is too small.
Okay.
Especially with, there's vertical. I also can offer vertical gardens for the walls, and those are beautiful.
They
or
are.
tower gardens for your patio or indoors.
Yeah.
They can come with lights. So it's not impossible.
Endless
It's easy.
options. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes.
Well, and then because Vegas is we have a great community.
We do.
You really have to look for community here. If you're not looking for it, it's hard to find. And so you think that there isn't community here when there really is. You just really have to, do your due diligence
that's true.
and look for it. So kind of how I found you, is there any other local business, that you feel people in Vegas should know about?
Yes, for sure. So I agree. I think you have to really seek out like-minded people.
Yes.
So the best way to meet people here in Vegas is to pursue your hobbies.
Yeah.
Whether it's hiking, join a hiking group. If it's gardening, join the Las Vegas Gardening Community on Facebook is an amazing gardening group.
Okay.
So if you use Facebook, they are so active. People are posting pictures, asking questions. That's really good. The Springs Preserve is so fun. If you're an outdoor lover and a gardener and love gardening, that's where I took a lot of classes myself.
I have too.
Yeah. And then the Cooperative Extension, the University of Nevada It's actually Reno and Las Vegas Cooperative Extension, and they have their demonstration gardens down in Henderson, which are beautiful.
Is that the one that's right off the 215?
Yes.
Okay.
And like Paradise, I think it's Paradise and 215 or Windmill.
Yeah, I think I've seen it right off the freeway.
So the demonstration gardens, which took me forever to get to, I always wanted to get there. I didn't realize it was right there, right off the highway.
Right.
But they're gorgeous, and you can walk and see, real gardens growing season by season.
Well, and I believe they even have a master gardening course.
They have the Master Gardeners program. Yes. Yeah. And that's been a great program for people who want to meet other gardeners.
Yeah.
They get in that and they really form some friendships around gardening and learning more. And that program focuses on your whole yard. I'm the veggie girl. I'm the edible garden girl.
Yes.
People will ask me questions about, cacti and other things. And I'm like, I'm the veggie girl. I don't know. But I have lots of people to call.
Well, but that is good to know, though, because, if somebody does have another question, again, like I said, you're just such a great resource that you can point them in the right direction if they do have those questions about, cactuses or,
For sure.
Cactuses,
I've been here for now. I put this garden in 2009. This whole yard was an empty foreclosed home. So this was 2009, but I started taking courses in 2007. Is that almost 20 years now or 15 years?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Flies.
It's been a while.
Since your last garden.
But yeah, so that is, great advice, because I even forget about the cooperative extension that's out there. But yeah, so I'm excited for your book.
Thank you.
I am
more information coming soon.
Yeah,
yes.
And I know even like at my daughter's middle school, they have all kinds of clubs. So that could be just one more that they add. Yes. To the mix.
It's really a great thing. We started up the club at Kitty Ward again, and it was put in, I think that garden was originally put in by another great organization here in town called Green Our Planet.
Yes.
And the pandemic was just really, it hit the gardens hard.
Yeah.
Survival in the pandemic was first and foremost.
Yeah.
So the garden programs had to be put aside.
Right.
So we're starting them back up, and I know they had sign-ups within a week.
Wow.
All the spots were filled. So the students love the garden program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so thank you
for
sharing it today. I
Absolutely.
appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, and I appreciate you because you took the burden off of me not being able to do this for so long, and made it just such an easy process.
I'm so happy to hear that because I design all my consultations to do that. So I'm really glad that was exactly what it did for you. Good.
So, any more information that you need from Farmer Jen, we will link her info in the description so that you can think about it, you can talk to her, you can see what might be possible for you and your family. But if you choose to go forward and make this veggie garden a part of your life, you are not going to regret it. You are going to love every minute of it, and you're going to get some delicious food out of the process. So we will see you next time.